What's up and welcome to episode 53 of How Not to Summon a Podcast. I'm your host, Sheeny Senpai, and this week I'm joined by the guy who's always the sidekick and never the hero, Jim.
Yeah, it's my fate in life, I guess.
And that man who wants Valkyrie to be his senpai, Grayson.
Fucking right. So Scooby Gang.
And this week we are finishing Cautious Hero with episodes 7 to 12. So we jump into episode 7, where we left off with episode 6, with the Rose Guard Imperial Knights asking for help. They're at the cave entrance to the Dragon's Den. They've come for help. They've asked Seiya...
He's ignoring that. He's carrying on talking.
Yeah,
we both from it.
We both looked at him.
I thought you were okay with it, because you looked at me and went, okay, we'll leave it.
We both, I think it was like a non-verbal. It was like, are we going to mention this?
One beer in, ladies and
gentlemen. No, 2 sips in.
They're asking Seiya to help fight what is basically a swarm of flies that are attacking.
But one of them's got a pair of jeans on, which
yes.
makes him the leader.
And he can talk.
I thought they were black chinos, to be fair. They look
might
like
be black chinos.
He's
Maybe
not...
leather pants. Maybe he's cool as fuck. Maybe he's Ross Geller in Fly
Wet
form.
leather.
The leader of the flies is called Beelzebub. He isn't one of the 4
Is it
demon
Beelzebub?
kings. Beelzebub? Yeah,
I thought it was Beelzebub.
No,
Okay.
No, it's Beelzebub.
Beelzebub.
Great. It sounded like they stuttered their way through it.
And as Seiya says, great, I have to fight these flying poop eaters. He's not wrong. They're
not
just
wrong.
giant human-sized flies, which is horrifying, right?
Fuck yeah, you seen the way they eat? They throw up on shit.
Could you imagine a fly the size of you?
That's how they eat.
They do. They throw up on stuff. Do
Yeah,
they dissolve it?
Yeah, they throw their stomach acids onto it and then re-eat it.
Welcome to the Animal Channel.
Here we have the disgusting fly.
That's not a nice way to talk about Jim.
I don't know what.
No, he just sits on his shit watching fucking Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, you guys talk shit.
So the first time he sees Beelzebub, Seiya he's disgusted by him, isn't he? He's like, oh, that's disgusting. It can talk. Even more horrifying.
To be fair,
even more horrifying.
That is fucking. Can you imagine if you saw an anatomically correct fly talking in a human size? Ooh. No, not about it.
I'm walking away.
walking.
You're doing that Homer
you know what
Simpson
you're doing?
back
You're
into
like,
the hedge.
I'm not going to use a sword. I need a giant fly swat.
Yeah,
one of those electric ones from Poundland.
No, just put a big light up. There we go. He could have dealt with that.
That's flies.
Yeah.
That's mozzies, isn't it?
Flies do that as well.
Yeah,
flies go to the sticky paper. That's what he needs. He needs to hang sticky paper.
Piece of paper.
Why do bakeries have them then? We don't have mosquitoes in this country.
We do. We have gnats.
Are they mosquitoes?
Yes, and
No,
midgies.
I thought they were gnats.
Midgies, I hate fucking midgies. They're always in pictures. Why are they in photos all the time? Behind the frame. Always behind the glass. Why?
He's just trying to get in on the photo.
It's a family photo. This will be my resting place with my friends.
As they're watching the flies, they notice that the flies are flying down, picking up the knights, and performing what they're saying is a reverse firework.
This is horrific, by the way.
This is horrific. They're dropping these men from a height so they splat on the floor.
This show has been really mild and comedy, and then this episode they're like,
I don't know,
gore.
It's revenge.
Chaos Machina beheaded somebody in episode 1 or 2.
Yeah,
2.
Normal though.
Yeah, but that's like...
But this is like straight up torture.
Well, they're
almost.
just dropping people
Depends
to the
how
floor.
slow they fly up.
Nice.
Here.
We're going up
Clouds.
20 levels, though. Ding.
And we also get our introduction to Rosalie, who is the captain of the Knights.
I fucking hate this character.
Do you not like Rosalie?
I fucking hate this character.
Rosalie is a very ungrateful character.
I know.
Very ungrateful because her father is the best.
Oh, is her father the king? Is that the one?
Well, he's not. He is a king, isn't he? He's the king, but he's also the greatest swordsman of all.
He's
Yeah,
a
is he the one that turns
man.
into a baby?
Yes, we'll come
Right.
to that. We will come to him.
Yeah, she is a prick.
She is an absolute cow.
She's all right in like the last episode, but she's a prick
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
when she like tries to be nice.
Yeah.
But she's also extremely eager to fight. So when she sees that the hero is with them, she's like, let's go. All her men are knackered.
Half of them are dead.
Half are dead, injured, and she's like, "Oh, the hero's here. Let's go." And they're like, "We
They're
can't fight."
dungeon 1, floor 1.
Oh, yeah.
The Knights of
The Blood Oath.
the Blood Oath.
Yeah, they are.
Oh no, you were on about the Imperial.
Imperial Guard.
The ones on level 1.
Yeah.
Imperial Army.
Where they
the
run,
ones that are like knackered and they're like, "Come on, man,
let's go." It's
yeah.
like, your men are tired.
And he's like, yeah.
Nope, let's go.
But this is worse because she knows what she's doing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but she does listen in the end, and they retreat back to the war room at the city so that they can discuss. She's like, "Well, I only want to be here for a few hours."
It's not even that. She's like, yes, we'll go back and discuss a plan. But
And
as
then
soon as
go.
we've done that, we're going.
Yes, and she does drop the hint that her father is a great war master as well, which she mentions.
It's a funny way of saying warmonger.
War master, the master of war.
So it's King John.
And Saya at this war meeting. Saya at this war meeting turns around and goes, "I'm going to go back to the Divine Realm. Don't worry, because like the whole time I'm out there and I'm training, it'll be like 3 hours here. So can you just hang tight for 3 hours?"
Not even that. He says like 3 days there is like an hour. So you need to hold on for an hour.
Yeah, and
And-
she doesn't want to. And he also accidentally mentions that he was there when the soldiers were being picked up and dropped, and this angers Rosalie. I guess you would be angry.
Yeah.
Because this
He can
hero,
fly.
this hero who can fly, sat back and watched your possible friends being splattered all over the
We
floor.
do have a Superman problem, though. Superman always catches people
Yeah.
forgetting that they would just snap into 3 pieces. You drop something from a great height, and you just
Yeah, but
put your
isn't-
arms out to catch them.
You could say that
and
about
you're the
Flash
man
as
of
well,
steel.
couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, fucking
Physically,
whiplash.
he couldn't move anybody because you'd die if he
Yeah.
moved you out the way of a car at that speed. He'd basically break your neck anyway.
Pretty much. Unless he's got, like, a ready-built
Trampoline.
table or something to move all of you at once, so you stay perfectly steady, straps you in.
There is an
He's got one of those fireman like things that they go underneath and just like.
I've seen a clip of an anime where there's these 2 kids about to get hit by a car, and this superhuman character gets in front, grabs the kids, and like turns their back to the car. The car crashes into him, crumbles, and everyone's like, "Oh, you've saved the kid,"
And he's crushed.
and
him.
he's fucking crushed the child.
Oh.
Yeah, that's apparently a comedy anime. I'm sure it's
I mean,
funny.
that is pretty funny.
I'm sure
to
it's
be
funny.
fair.
I'm sure it's funny at the time.
I mean, you'd be
Wow.
sitting there, popcorn in hand, going, "Ah, look at that, that's funny."
Isn't that how Civil War started? Killing some kids?
Yeah, it is actually Civil War because there was
some
an
TV show.
explosion
Yeah.
at the school. He tries to protect them, but he doesn't catch the kids basically, and they all
the
get blown
comic-y
up.
one.
Yeah, the comic book one. I know which one you're on about. Civil War.
They're recording a TV show and they try to show it off. It's like an
Yeah.
MTV show.
Basically, there's a
okay.
Where
load
they
of like
follow
C-grade
superheroes.
heroes.
And then a school bus blew up because
Yeah.
they
Oh.
just didn't.
They were not
So
prepared for
effectively,
it.
you're trying to do good, but
Yeah,
in
but
doing
they did
good,
bad
you've
and it
made
started
worse
a civil war.
situations.
Yeah, and they were doing a TV show for it. It was like fucking MTV's Punked. It was, and then these guys are like, no, we're here to blow up a school. And they're like, oh, fuck. We're not prepared for this. They blow up the school.
Is it a
and
school? I
it's
thought
like,
it was just a school bus in a
it might be
neighborhood.
the school bus, or I thought it was one or the other. I thought it was
Wow.
a school. And they're like,
Good writing by Marvel. School bus. Definitely not been used before.
it works because they, fucking hell.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Tangent.
So,
Should we talk
That's
about
tangent
Doctor
number
Should we
one.
talk about Doctor Who again?
Rosalie is angry that Saya was there, and to silence her from her fit of anger, Saya gives her a slap.
I mean, she goes to hit him after that. I'm
he
calling
does say
this.
it was self-defense,
Because, what's her
Well,
name? Is
Sometimes
but then
you just gotta slap a bit.
but then he continues to keep slapping her because she won't shut up.
she also keeps going to hit him. She draws a sword on him.
And then he portals away before she gets too angry.
It's the fact that he's like, what? She was coming at me hard, bro.
self-defense.
Yeah,
Man.
self-defense.
No, you
man.
lost all self-defense when you put bro on the end of it. It's not self-defense.
I
That's
hate
roid
her.
rage.
I hate this character because she's just so fucking angry all the time, and she's just.
It's
fucking.
no, she doesn't see him as a hero because her dad's the greatest.
But he's not. He's not a
We
hero.
know that.
He's a baby.
he's also fucking evil in the end. But
No, I
Yeah.
mean like him. He's not a blooming hero either, though.
he's a cautious hero.
Yeah, but he does it the right way. She would die if she did what she wanted to do.
He knows what he has to do to protect those that he wants to protect.
Exactly.
But we find that out later on as well. So after he portals away, the first thing he asks for is he's like, I know what would kill these flies. Guns. Make me some guns.
Surface to air Patriot missile
and
god.
missiles. And he's like, is there a missile god or a gun god? And she's like, I don't think
She's
so.
like,
but
we might have a gun god around here.
John Wick comes out of a portal. Yes, there is a gun god.
We call him Bubba Yaga.
And here he is.
they picked up a dog and dropped it. What?
Ooh. The old Bob. He's like, oh shit, I'm done now.
So when he finds out he can't use guns, missiles, etc., he's like, well, I've got to use a bow. I've got no choice but to use bows and arrows. Restarte is like, oh, well, there is a goddess of archery, so which is standard in any Greek mythology.
Anyone
and all
else
that,
sick of archery and shit? Fucking Tomb Raider.
It's a fantasy
and
world,
Horizon
so you're going to get it.
But in everything, they've gone to the bow.
I hate bow and arrow.
I'm just tired of it. It's like the zombie thing. I'm just done. Stop it for a little while.
Yeah.
Pack it in.
I haven't really got anything to say about archery. I don't really care about archery.
No, just in media. Like, they did it with Horizon Zero Dawn, and then they put them in Battlefield and Call of Duty.
It's a good game.
And, yeah, it's a good game, but I'm just tired of the bow shit.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
What, you don't want any more combat bows?
I'm
and
just done-
explosive
yeah, I'm
bows?
just
Well,
done with
considering in
bows.
Horizon Zero Dawn there's like mechanical monsters and dinosaurs, you'd think
yeah.
they'd have the technology to make guns, but yeah.
Yeah.
They've all turned into monsters. That's the problem.
So anyway, we get our introduction to Metis, the goddess of archery. Now, interesting character this one.
She's the goddess of something.
And before he is taken on as her pupil, he asks Elulu to teach him fire arrow, which he masters instantly.
She's like, I don't know. This takes lots of practice. Done it.
And so he's left with Metis. Elulu and Mash, they go off as well because they asked to continue their training, and they spot Cerseus. And he tells them about Adanella, who is psycho at the minute.
These are some fucking Game of Thrones shit names for
Yeah, well, they're gods, aren't they?
I don't give a shit. Why can't God be called Brian?
Because Brian would not work.
Yes, the god of archery, Steve. Why not?
Or just Robin.
Just Robin, yeah.
Robin works, actually. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
see?
okay with Robin. Like an Ethan, maybe in there as well. Let's go with an Ethan.
Is that Hawkeye's first name?
Ethan.
No.
What's his name?
Oh.
What's his real name?
Nobody gives a
Hawkeye?
fuck what
Nobody
Hawkeye
cares about Hawkeye.
Nobody cares about the guy that's an archer and gets a fucking god. It doesn't work in the MCU.
So anyway,
Green Arrow would do it.
we
Shut up. There's
The actual
fucking
Green Arrow.
Superman, and you're like, yeah, the guy with a bow and
Yeah, but-
arrow will do it.
Green Arrow goes up against gods. He loses, but he goes up against them. Superman comes in and saves the day. That's what Superman does.
he does
but
it every time.
Superman is a god.
Yes. Well, it's not. He's just a guy from a planet. So anyway, we find out that
I'm a big Superman fan.
we know that Ardanella wants to kill Seiya because of the whole rejection thing of her cake and her.
She's done some lovely decorating, though.
Yes. And we cut them back to Arya, who is offering to help Mash and unlock his powers.
All these godly names. Mash.
Mash isn't a god. Mash is a little kid.
Got Arya, Frank and Dave and Brian over there. And Mash.
She wants to help Mash unlock his powers, and she also offers to help Elulu because she's sad because she doesn't think she's useful, but actually she has hidden powers.
I like this bit with
Like,
Ayla
get
Lou.
used once.
I like Ayla Lou at this point, though.
I mean, it's more than fucking Mashes gets used.
Because she knows she's a
Yep.
pointless. I like Ayla Lou at this point because she knows she's a pointless character. She's like, no thanks, I'm just gonna eat some candy instead. And then she's like, oh, I feel like there's untapped potential. She's like, oh, hold on, what is this?
And she cries and she goes, really?
Oh, it's amazing, thank you.
Ardanella, meanwhile, follows Restarte back to Seiya, who is training, and she goes to kill him,
Super Saiyan
and he stops her, and he calms her down,
pats her on the head. Calm
and
down.
she instantly
Calm
changes
down.
back to the sweet, childish character. I don't know how else to say it, really.
I do love the fact that this is commented on though by
Restarte.
Restarte, yeah, sorry. It's commented on by her that she's like, I know there's love, but then this is just psychotic levels. Like, this woman wants to murder him, and then he pats her on the head. It's like, your hair's gone a bit crazy. And now she's
Diffused.
like, oh, I love him
I
again. He's
forgive you."
amazing. I forgive you.
And the episode ends with Metis watching from the trees.
And licking an apple.
And
I don't
she-
like that.
Who licks an apple?
Who licks an apple? See, I thought of this. I looked at it, I was like, no.
And she's licking an apple. And we go into episode 8. Episode 8 opens with us seeing that Mash has unlocked his potential. Well, some of his potential. And he
Yeah,
can
he's
now...
got a wank arm.
He's got... That's all he's been doing for 2 days.
It's fucking Quagmire.
He's got...
Mash has learned
Oh
how to
god, no!
smash.
That's when Quagmire discovers the internet.
Yeah.
No, can you remember when he comes out? Quagmire, nobody's seen you for 2 days. How's it going? He's got one huge arm.
Just stutters his way through a sentence.
Not bad, Peter. Not
I
bad.
gotta get inside this stuff I need to see.
It's the massive arm,
Yeah, so Mash has a dragon arm. He
which
can.
smashes. It's the mash that smashes.
Fuck's sake.
We never see Mash use
Ever.
any dragon skill at all.
Ever.
We do.
We see him use them.
He's a
just
great
not
cleanup
in
crew.
Yeah, cleanup.
a combat situation.
Ailulu has learnt 2 skills, 2 support magic skills. So that's what she was proficient in, support magic, not fire magic. She can use a spell called Delay, which slows people down to what? Half their speed?
Not even that.
I don't know. Slows people down. And then she's got another one called Haste, which speeds people up.
Question.
Yes.
Does the slowdown mean that you age slower? And does the speed up mean that you age faster?
Yeah, because I guess it would slow everything molecular.
Because it's slowing every...
Wise.
It's speeding you up,
But it's not a
but it's not
scientific thing.
speeding up
A magic
the
thing.
rest of time.
Do you mean would haste like age you quicker?
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Or maybe it's just a physical thing. It affects you physically. And that's
Maybe.
it. Not inside, internally.
Maybe it's a mind thing.
I'm just thinking of it in the context of time being linear.
Because I'm pretty
Like, you
sure
have to-
if you cast slow on someone and throw them off a bridge, they're still falling at a normal speed. They're not falling slowly.
That's hilarious. Because in their head, they're going slow.
They wouldn't even see themselves hit the floor, technically, would they? By the time they've looked down and seen where they're going.
They would, but for them, the fall would last an eternity. But for you,
God,
it's
yeah.
instant. Funny.
No!
Right, anyway. So,
Sheen's getting ideas.
Arya then finds out from Restarte that Metis is training Seiya, and she's like, "What have you done?" Metis is bad news. There's a reason that she's not allowed to leave the Magic Forest.
She is a
nymph.
eater.
She's a nymphomaniac. So she sexually devours heroes.
He wrote that exactly how she says it as well.
This is where Lee's going straight away.
He's like, hold on a minute. There's worlds that need saving all of a sudden.
First, you
And,
had my attention.
Because she sexually devours heroes, those heroes are one and dones. So the minute that they succumb to her, they are no longer allowed to be heroes because they've been tainted.
Well, that's just a win-win, surely.
Don't have to save a world?
Get laid, don't
If-
have to save a world anymore.
Yeah, but it depends if you can keep the memory as well. Because if you go back to your real world and then you're like, oh, fuck to God.
My ass hurts. I don't know why.
Wait, Celsius?
Jim, I made you a cake.
Put it in my hole.
Here it is. Do you want the cream pie?
The creamiest.
I gotta make you his Twinkie.
This meter seems like she'd be into that sort of
Yeah,
shit.
so Restarte, upon hearing this, goes, oh my God, I have to stop this. He's not allowed her. He's only allowed my divine booty. If he wants it. She gets there. Metis is tied up, naked, to a tree, upside down. And
We've all been there.
she
There are some thick ropes.
She
by the way.
challenges Seiya and says that if you can fire arrows and cut down the ropes that are holding me to the tree and catch me, I'll have sex with you. It's basically what she says. You know, you cut me free and I'll do you a favor.
A favour.
So Seiya fires his
It's a pretty
first.
big favour.
It's a slit for a slit.
Slit you gonna slit?
So Seiya fires his first arrow directly into her forehead.
What does she say? What does Restarte say from that?
I didn't write it down. What'd she say?
You exploded all onto her face. That was a direct headshot.
Metis then cuts herself free, pulls the arrow out, and turns into like this creepy crab creature.
Can we talk about the light bulb vagina that's going on. There's a light bulb vagina going on in there.
Gotta keep it PG.
Where is that light coming from?
That's how you know it's a good idea.
It's a goddess.
No, that light is coming. No, that light is not coming from anywhere
Only
other
the
than
penitent
here.
man shall pass. Indiana Jones joke.
That light is still not coming from anywhere other than here.
It's the Holy Grail.
She's got a fucking
Holy Grail.
tanning salon in the middle.
Jesus' cup was fairy.
A fucking tanning salon in between her legs.
As she runs at Saya, he fires more arrows at her and hits her in both eyes and in her throat. She pulls them out and goes, I'm a god. You cannot kill me. Or a goddess. You cannot kill me. And she spots Mash and turns on him and goes, an appetizer. And Restarte screams, run, she's gone full pervert. And she goes after Mash.
I mean, Mash is barely a fucking aperitif, really, is he?
Saya then fires a 5-shot shining arrow, which matches the most that Metis has ever done. She said you can't do any more than 5, and no human has ever done 5 anyway. He does 5 shining arrow shots and pins her to a tree.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't notice any of that because I was too busy
Looking at her.
Well, with what was going on with the blooming
With the what?
tits were literally like windmilling each other, like each side.
The last
They
10
were.
minutes
It
about
was
why it's
literally
haunted
like
place.
a blooming rotor blades of a blooming motorboat going on around here.
That's not how motorboats work.
Fuck! I don't think they spin in opposite directions to me. At this point, Saya says that he's ready to leave back to the world. He gets there. Rosalie has gone. She has decided to solo it and take on the entire army of flies herself. And
So this is
Beelzebub.
Grayson. He's Leroy Jenkins in this shit.
You're fucking damn right.
They get to the tree and they see Rosalie is trying to crawl up it. And Saya is like, I predicted this. She is my distraction. And he sets up to, as he says, snipe Beelzebub with an arrow. Unfortunately, there's distractions everywhere. So
Restarte stink,
Apparently
apparently.
Restarte smells. And also the random guy turns up and starts shouting. And he's like, be quiet. And he shouts even louder. And you put an arrow between this fucking guy's eyes, right? The minute he spoke up and spoke up again, you're like,
I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I'd just spark him out or something.
Jim doing that because I can't.
Hey,
rope-a-dope.
I'm a superhero in this one. I have the strength and power
Always
to.
the sidekick.
Jim's like fisticuffs.
You are
Fisticuffs.
you are Mash.
I don't mind that. Turns into a fucking dinosaur.
It's a fucking dragon.
It's not.
It never gets used.
How not to use your dragon.
Rosalie is then taken.
That was fucking awful.
Thank you very much.
Rosalie gets taken, and Saya asks Restarte to delay and be a decoy and distract Beelzebub. So, and she's like, "What should I do?" And he goes, "I don't know. Talk about the weather."
Nice weather we're having here.
Beelzebub flies right up high with Rosalie. He's about to drop her, and he's like, "Oh, I am beyond arrows." At this point, he's like, "An arrow cannot reach me at this height." Lo and behold, an arrow comes flying out of nowhere and just misses him. Beelzebub, this guy, by the way, is probably the most clever bad guy in the entire thing. Because he tries to work out things, and he makes sense when he's like talking about it.
I think it's the
Yeah.
next one for me. I think it's not this one, but I think it's actually one of the Heavenly Kings. The next one that goes through.
But he's predicted. He's like, at this height, the hero cannot be on the ground, so he is hiding in the clouds because he's like, an arrow cannot reach me from the ground, and he's a fly. So this is quite intelligent for a fly.
That's not a fly. That's a fly man.
A fly man.
He's the guy from The Fly, the movie The Fly, the guy that gets
Doesn't he
mixed
get
together.
yeah, because he has a fly's head. doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's the guy from Jurassic Park,
It's
isn't it?
Jeff Goldblum.
That's it. Yeah, Goldblum. That's it.
It's Jeff Goldblum.
He's
this
that guy. This is when Saya fires a 7-shot shining arrow, which has never been done before. Beelzebub avoids all of it, only for the shots to turn into birds, turn around, fly back, and blow a hole through Beelzebub's chest. Because Saya has managed to master what he calls the boomerang birdie boom boom.
I wondered if you'd had that wrote down.
Oh, I wrote it down.
Because I heard it earlier. I was just like, Nice. That sounds like something I would name it when I literally just see what it is.
The boomerang birdie boom boom. Rosalie is completely ungrateful for being saved. She doesn't give a shit. And Saya turns to Mash and Elulu and he's like, oh, it's up to you two to deal with what's left. Get ready. And they're like, yes, we're going to fight. He's like, because there's tons of flies still left. And then Saya just like machine gun arrows all the flies out of the sky and gets them to collect the corpses together into a big pile and uses Hell's Fire.
Yeah, Elulu uses her haste on Mash
to collect
them. And he's like, I'm supposed to be a dragon master. I'm more of a maid, really.
Just before she leaves, Rosalie then leaves them with the message of, there's a legendary armor in a village. I was supposed to tell you to go and get it, so you probably want to go and get it. I'm going to go back to my father, who's the best swordsman in the world.
She is the most fucking ungrateful person ever. She's like, yeah, I was meant to tell you this, but I wasn't really wanting to, but it's supposed to be there for you.
And Saya turns around and goes, it's best that we go back to the town first, go to the inn, rest a little bit, and then we'll go and get this armor. Strangely enough, the armor is at the inn of the town they were already staying in.
I think it was brought there.
Ah, there we go.
I think.
So they portal to this inn, and the entire town has been destroyed because there's a demon tortoise there. And the demon tortoise is owned by Kilkapul, who is one of the four, and the tortoise has eaten the sacred armor.
It's usable. That armor, dry it out, reshape it.
Try it out.
It's fucking doable. Just dry it out.
And that's how it ends. The tortoise spits the sacred armor on the floor, and that's how it ends. And we go into episode 9. Turns out it's the old guy from episode 1. So this demon king is the guy that Saya pointed out in episode 1 and said that guy could be a serial killer.
Literally the first guy that he pointed out and was like, yeah, anybody here could be one of them, including that guy. He's probably a serial killer. And she's like, oh, no, don't worry about it.
He's got a wife and kid. Yeah, so he picks up the heads of his wife and kid and goes, oh, unfortunately, I had to kill my wife and son. He doesn't say why. He just says
for the ritual.
For a ritual.
For the ritual that he does after he gets rid of Tortoise.
And then he kills himself. And this summons what I can describe as a White Reaper?
Do you know what it is? It is the Reaper from Sword Art Online in the low basement dungeon.
But white.
That's literally what that is. And it also basically has the same sort of abilities.
I was going to say, it's also like the Hydra from Hercules.
Yeah. All the brooms from Fantasia.
What?
Because he cuts the Reaper in half and 2 appear.
Fantasia.
Hydra.
No, because the Hydra is connected together, so they just get more heads.
I guess so.
Yeah, this one, they cut it in half and there's 2 fucking appear, so it's more like the brooms. Don't roll your fucking eyes. This shit's staying in.
Saya turns around and goes...
Stop looking at me, I'm not fucking taking sides.
Saya turns around
I don't think you know what the fuck's going on.
I know what a Hydra is, and I know what the fucking brooms from Fantasia are.
Have you never seen fucking Fantasia?
Yes, of course I have.
But then what the fuck are you... What?
What?
What if you're late?
Saya cannot read the stats of this Reaper, so he's like, we need to get out of here. We need a portal. We need to go. So they run away, and as they jump through the portal, Saya drops to the floor, and Rastate's like, oh my god, you're hurt. And he's like, I've been hit. He lifts his shirt, but he's got a little scuff on his belly. And he's like...
100 hit points.
And he's like, yeah, 100 hit points. And he's like, heal me. And she's like, but it's a scuff. And he's like, I need to be 100% for a fight. Fair?
Fair. Although we have seen from Grimgar what happens when you overly heal somebody.
But she's a goddess. Yeah.
That comes back later.
Yeah, it does. So the Reaper manages to open its own portal to the Divine Realm and follows them.
This is what I mean by Kilkapur is the most fucking deadly of all of them.
But it's not even him. He's killed himself.
Yeah.
To summon this monster.
Yeah, but he knew how to beat him.
Imagine being the Demon Lord, right? And the only way your kings, the 4 people you trust below you, the only way they ever get good is by killing themselves and summoning a monster in their place.
Now I'll ask you,
Chaos Machina did this, killed herself, summoned a monster in her place. They're not exactly reliable, are
I'll
they?
ask you
Well,
this
do you
thing.
think it's like a last stand type of thing? Like
Yeah, but
good enough
they go
without
to
him
that
and then-
instantly. Kilkapul didn't even try and fight or even set the tortoise on Saya.
He said he was an old man. He was just like, I'm an old man.
Yeah, but
I
he's
can't
got a
beat
fucking
you.
tortoise that's destroyed a town.
I mean, it's just a big tortoise.
Alright, fair enough.
You're not telling me if you're the fucking Demon King and like me and
If I'm the Demon
me
King, I
and
don't
Lee
want my demon
are
lords
part of your
to-
heavenly demon lords,
You-
and you're
you
like,
might- are you part of
kill
my demon
yourself
kings?
for me.
Yeah.
You would totally be like, some of you may die.
I'd turn around and be like, you are the four, or you are the two of my most trusted fucking demon kings.
And you are a sacrifice I am willing to make.
I'd be like, if you're going to kill yourself, it better be the very last resort.
Well,
because
it worked. It fucking worked because all he could do was run. He
True.
was not beating it. Kill Kapoor was the biggest boss because
Yeah,
he
I
wasn't going to
suppose so.
win. Even the fucking Demon King was not as good as this guy because he would have lost.
Oh, I don't know. The Demon King took 2 ultimate moves to kill.
Yes,
yeah.
but at this time he didn't know those ultimate moves. He was
No, he
never
didn't.
going to fucking win.
No,
against
all
that
he
thing.
knew was that Valkyrie was about.
And that was it. So he had to run away to fucking Valkyrie to go and sort his problem for him.
So while he's running, 3 gods come forward to fight the Reaper and fail miserably. They're running along like the bridges and that, and gods are jumping in trying to take this Reaper on, and it's
The
just
sumo one.
It's,
It's fucking,
Super duper sumo.
yeah.
they're getting beat left, right. The gods, they're useless. He even runs past Ardenella and asks her to help him. She fails. She cuts it up into pieces, and it just
Well,
reforms.
it goes like 30 of them.
Yeah. He runs in the end to Valkyrie, who's painting on the roof of a building because she likes her downtime.
I like that because they were like, why are we going this way? And he's like,
At this
I
time
know
of
where
day,
she is.
yeah.
She's going to be up here. He knew that because he obviously had insight into what she was really like.
Yeah. And Valkyrie fights the Reaper, can't beat it, so has to unlock all of her godly powers and summon her ultimate move, the Gate of Valhalla. I like this move. I like the sound of it as well. It's a good name.
It was cool.
It is cool.
Although Valhalla is the Norse
Warrior's heaven, isn't it?
warrior heaven. Yeah, so you actually want to
have
go
to
to
earn.
Valhalla.
Yeah,
You
you
earn your
earn
right there, and you
through
fight for
battle.
eternity. Have you played
No, I just know what Valhalla
Assassin's
is.
Creed Valhalla?
No, I
you
just
go
know.
to Valhalla in one of the missions, and literally you have a feast, drink, fight,
Yeah,
wake
heal.
up again, have a feast, drink, fight, and
Yeah.
it's over and over again. Even if you
That's
die,
what
you just
Valhalla
go
is.
back. After using her move, they go to run over to her, and she's like, "No, stand back." The move drains your life force when you use it, and it opens up multiple wounds on her, and she's like spraying blood everywhere, which she actually enjoys.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, and she says humans can't do this move, and even if they did, it would kill them because of the price you pay for using this skill. And Seiya turns around and goes, "Teach me." He's like, "You don't have to teach me the ultimate move, but just teach me how to fight." This is what he says. He's like, "Oh, I don't need to know the gates of Valhalla. Just teach me how to fight." And she agrees. He also, before leaving, picked up a piece of that armor, that special armor, and synthesizes it to make another special sword. He's got multiple special swords.
That are useless.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, he's got a photon sword and a platinum sword, and I don't know where he pulls them from.
The bag of holding that Dickhead's got.
He
Match.
does-
The very large bag that he is holding these days.
And Restarte goes to hug him as well, and he's like, "Get off me, you smell like hot garbage." Everyone comments on her smell, by the way. 'cause
Yeah, I got that in these last few
in
episodes.
fairness, we've never seen her wash.
True. This is very true.
To be fair, I've never seen Jim wash either. I just assume he does it.
And
Why are you coming
Restarte,
at me? Like,
Restarte
I
goes.
said anybody.
Restarte goes to go for a bath, but cannot get to the bath because Ishtar has summoned her. She goes there, and Ishtar tells her that the last of the Demon Kings is making a move on the capital, and she has to leave right away. Or she says right away, and then she's like, "Well, actually, you've probably got time for a wash." And when next time we see Restarte, she's bright red because she scrubbed herself until she's sore.
She looks tanned.
No,
From what
she
she's
looks
done.
sunburned.
Yeah, sunburnt.
And we also see that Mash has upgraded himself to max ability, I guess, because he's become a dragon god. It's such a short amount of time, by the way.
He just looks like a big lizard.
Yeah.
Dinosaur.
And Elulu has upgraded one of her skills. The haste skill has become the speed skill. So instead of being in a little bit of a rush, you're in a full rush.
Instead of going at 1.5 speed, you're going
And-
at 2.
She goes to collect Seiya, walks in, and he's tied to a bed naked with Valkyrie on him naked.
That's how you transfer this skill.
So,
USD.
did they do it? Yeah, nice.
I was going to say something, and literally you said that, I was like, What? I was like, surely it's USB, and I was like, oh.
They never actually. They never
That's why I'm the funny one.
say what happened, did they?
No, they just address that's how you learn it, and it's like you have no idea what's going on.
No, he says to Restarte, "Oh, that if that's what you're thinking, that didn't happen. That's the only way I could learn the skill." But you never actually find out what they were doing. But Restarte is like, I've got something to help you. I've got something to help you, Seiya, and she pulls out the doll she made out of her hair.
And everybody's like, "Whoa, that's way too much."
New level of crazy.
Yeah, restraining order.
And even Valkyrie's like, I don't want to fondle your boobs anymore because you are crazy.
Although, give him his due. He's like, put it in the bag.
Yes,
we'll use it
he
later.
takes it, and then he says, right, let's go. And they portal away. However, this is the first time and only time we've ever seen it where he doesn't say he's 100% prepared. Restarte comments on this, saying that at the time she didn't realise that he didn't say it.
That was a nice bit of narration when that happened.
It was. And they meet at the capital, Eraser Kaiser, the last of the four. Would you like to comment on that name as well, Lee?
No, it's fine.
No?
He's a rubber king, basically.
And Eraser Kaiser turns around to all the guards at the city, at the capital, and says, I challenge your strongest hero to a fight.
Sounds like a set of PC headphones, doesn't it?
Sounds metal as
Razor
fuck.
Kaiser.
It sounds metal as fuck. It sounds like a rock band.
And the one that steps forward to fight him is the king, the old guy. And Eraser Kaiser's like, is this all you've got? Some old man. And he cuts Eraser Kaiser
One shot.
to pieces. And not only that, but he then summons like this gigantic sword and crushes all the demons that were standing there as well in one swing.
Wipes the entire army.
Yeah. He then collapses, and the episode ends with the king turning into a baby.
Baby go boom boom, I believe is how that ends as well.
And we go into episode 10. The baby, king, has very... he pissed himself.
He shit himself as well.
We've all been there.
I mean, he was an old man before, so, you know. He was an old man before. He probably did one, then t'other.
Yeah,
basically.
and they even show you, like, the dirty diaper and everything, and the guard dropping to the knees and wiping it. And it's like...
It's a royal diaper.
That's a royal flush.
Does that mean he had that diaper on the whole time?
prepared.
I am 100% prepared.
And Restarte's like, what's going on? And Seiya's like, look at him. Look at his skills. Just look at them. And she's like, what? I can't see anything. He's like, no. Look at the special skills at the bottom. So this guy has special skills. He's got maxed out level childishness. He's also high level in being spoiled and immediate crying.
That's some good writing. That's some good work right there.
Is it? So why did he become a baby?
They explain that. Why he becomes a baby.
Do they?
Cursed.
What?
Cursed. He was cursed by the Demon Lord. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Rosalie arrives. She's back.
That was skated over, by the way, that piece.
I want eternal youth. No, not literally. No.
And only periodically.
Whenever I whip out my big sword.
Baby.
I become a baby.
Every time after sex. He becomes a baby.
No.
Jim does anyway. He's like, feed me, water me, hold me.
I'm tired.
Tash, get the diaper.
Every time I see titties.
I like the fact you looked at his.
I know. Well, that's what you're on about, right?
They do bring all the boys to the yard.
So
You ain't getting milkshake out of it.
Rosalie tells them about the fact that her father, the strongest man in the world, is cursed by...
She is literally fucking Draco Malfoy. Isn't she? Isn't she?
The king has been cursed by the Demon Lord. So he went to fight the Demon Lord and failed and got cursed to turn into a baby from time to time.
Who the fuck knows?
Then they walk through town for a bit and they come across the herb dealer. And Restarte turns around and says to Seiya, why do you need to buy healing herbs when you have a goddess who can heal you? And he's like... And the market man is like, these herbs are better than you. And she's like, prove it. And so he does. His herbs are better than Restarte. Although, she's not unlocked her full goddess potential. because she's not allowed, which kind of sucks, right? You've got all
what's
this
the
like.
point?
You've
What's
got
the point of having that potential? You might as well be shit.
when you can never. Apparently, you're never allowed to use it. You can't use it in the godly divine realm because it's illegal to unlock it there. You can't use it, but Valkyrie, it's never mentioned when she unlocks it.
I mean, nobody's going to fucking argue with
Well,
her, to be
true,
honest.
yeah. Not even Ishtar.
I mean, she's like an old lady, to be fair. She reminds me
Yeah.
of, like, you know, she's basically in charge of, well,
Pudding.
yes, pretty much.
No, she's like the mother, isn't she?
Yeah,
she's like, the gods are her children.
She reminds me of, like, the woman from Future Diary.
But there is a council above her that
Is
make
there?
decisions. Because
Yeah,
at the end, last
mention
episode, she talks about the council have made a decision. So
Her in a mirror.
So even she has a boss. There are a board of directors in heaven.
What do you think, Deirdre? I think it's a good idea.
Just sock puppets.
We get then a little bit of Rosalie telling about, talking about her father and about his quest and how he's so strong, but he's become a baby and blah, 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 blah. And then she turns around to Saya and goes, my father is going to ask to come along to fight the Demon King. I want you to say no. He's an old man. He can't do it. He's just wiped out, one of the demon's strongest men in one hit. But apparently he's not strong enough to go on this quest. You'd want him with you.
I would 100% turn around and be like, come with me.
You'd want him with you. You'd
You
be
often
like...
say that to old men?
Simultaneously.
At the ready, boys!
Then there's a cry for help. The capital is again under attack. So Saya is like, everyone wait here. Restarte, just go to the church or cathedral or whatever it is with the king. Keep yourself safe. And he goes off and goes, I'll deal with it.
As soon as that happened, I was like, that's sus.
And she goes
Same.
with the king to the cathedral. And he starts talking about the connection, saying like,
Monologuing.
yes, he already knows that if a goddess is killed, she's not really dead because her soul is kept in a different place. And he's like, and the same goes for heroes. Their soul is connected to a different place. So when they die here, they're never really dead. And then he talks about the fact that he knows of a weapon that can kill.
Not before mysteriously going behind that
Wouldn't it have been funny if he did a wardrobe change?
wall. You just see clothes hanging up over.
He goes from his nice, like, knightly armour to, like, dark robes
No,
and the...
just pajamas. He's got a
Just into his jammies.
He's got a nightcap and a candle.
Smoking jacket.
I mean, it is past his bedtime. It's probably like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And he talks of the fact that he knows of that the Demon King has a weapon that can not just kill you here, but can kill your real soul.
I mean, as soon as he starts monologuing, I'm like, this guy's a bad guy.
And
Yep.
he whips out his special sword.
He does, his purple-headed one.
Yes.
It is purple as well.
And he speaks that the Demon Lord offered him eternal life if he is to slay the hero. And he says that I went to kill the Demon King and realised I couldn't do it. He's too powerful. So if you can't beat him, you join him.
Genie's on board with this. He was nodding.
That's his next tattoo.
If you can't beat him, join him.
I would have turned around to the Demon King and gone, I don't want a sword. Make it a dagger. Little one. Little hidden one.
What?
You know Assassin's Creed one that flies out. At the,
Well, just so you can pat the hero on the back
Why are
and
you
just...
Spider-Manning?
Because that's how the Assassin's Creed do it, you muppet.
Like
They
that.
go like that and it fires out.
Yeah, but the
Oh,
hands
no,
go
they
up.
can do it either way.
So what you want to do is walk right up to the hero and just go, to the face.
Don't you have to lose a finger being an assassin?
Yes,
What?
yes, you do.
Why?
Because it's where
So
the
trigger
blade comes
finger.
out.
Yeah, it's like a trigger finger, isn't it?
It's where the blade comes out. But in Valhalla, the main character does it a different way so that she doesn't have to lose a finger.
Huh.
Assassin's Creed knowledge for you.
Shit games. Great story. Shit games.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I would have
Fuck
just...
me, the worst movie you've ever seen as well.
Was it Michael Fassbender?
Fucking dreadful.
Yeah, it's...
Didn't mind Black Flag, my favourite one. of the
Pirating
Assassin-
was
Pirating was
Valhalla
good.
is a very, very good Assassin's Creed.
I would have played a game with just the pirating. From
Yeah,
Black Flag.
the pirating was the best bit.
EA were working on a pirate game, weren't they?
Yes.
Are they still working on that?
Skull and Bones.
Is it still in
Yes,
production?
still in the process, yeah. It's a full pirate game, open
Oh
world.
my god, it's been a while.
Anyway,
It's been a pandemic.
Restarte is then bound together by some spiky vines and spread open.
How'd you do?
And the guy is about to kill her, and Saya shows up at the last minute and saves her.
The
Then
vines look cool.
The king, yeah, they do. The
look
king then
purple,
like
look
vomits some blood because he's an old guy, and so he decides it's time to eat the demon spirit orb he was given by the Demon King, which makes him young again. And he becomes a young
He's a
version of
good-looking
himself.
guy, by the way. When this happens, I was like,
He
shit.
did have that hipster haircut.
He did.
As an old man.
He
He
did.
had just the
Yeah.
top, shaven sides.
Yeah. And they fight for a bit, and then Seiya realizes that he can't get the best of him, so he goes, I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this now. Pulls up his sleeves, he's got arms. This, I think, is from Naruto. There's a scene in Naruto where a character takes off some ridiculously heavy weights to speed up. If let me know if I'm right or wrong, by the way, people.
Send in.
Because I've
for
never
watching
seen
it.
Naruto, but I remember seeing a clip of this scene.
Send in on the Discord.
But he takes off these
So we can
bracelets.
laugh at you for watching Naruto.
He takes off these bracelets, and they are basically weights. So he's been purposely slowing himself down.
There's been like hundreds of them, by the way.
There's a lot.
He has like a pile of them, and then
Both arms.
Ristate's like, "How much hair did you take for all that?"
We also find out that Ailulu has already used her quick spell on him. So he's going toe to toe, but he can't get the better of this now young king. And everyone's worried. And then Seiya gets his arm cut off. Did anyone see this coming?
No,
No.
Yeah, everyone just thought he was going to get the best of him, right?
he got serious,
Yeah.
right? It got serious at this point. I was like, "Oh shit!"
He got
this
his arm
guy-
cut off. But then he turns around and goes, I'm not the only one who lost an arm. And he managed to take the arm that had the sword in it.
Well, he had like the Counter Strike thing, wasn't it?
Yes,
Where it's
special
like,
skill.
yeah,
But, like, returns the damage that you receive to the person.
like double.
And, but he was dual wielding at the time and therefore still has a sword, and the other guy doesn't. So the old guy decides he's going to defend himself from a sword strike with his fist. Doesn't work.
Shock.
And he pierces the king's chest.
This is Monty Python Holy Grail-esque, the Black Knight.
Tis
How
but a
about
flesh
ye?
wound.
And Ristate runs over and reattaches Seiya's arm with a bit of magic.
And a bit of sewing needle and thread, you know.
And Rosalie turns around and is kicking off how disgusted she is that her father has done this. And Seiya turns around and goes to Ristate and says, heal him. Or just buy him some time, is basically what he does. And he walks over and slaps Rosalie again and forces her to see sense and says, that's your father. No matter what he's done, he's your father. And you need to go to him before he dies. And she does. She goes to him and he tells her he loves her and then dies.
I think this is probably the nicest you've seen him as well, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's shown emotion other than just like, I don't care.
I mean,
what
he
anybody
did it
else
via
thinks.
slapping her, but it made
Grayson,
us-
would you like to press the soundboard?
What soundboard? What are you talking about?
Huh, every so often, you know.
Sometimes you got to slap a bitch.
There we go. Thank you.
Or a man.
Oh, man. Hey, they can be bitches. A bitch is a universal term. Doesn't matter what junk you got.
Now that the king is dead, Rosalie has become the new queen.
Yay! Imagine being the people under her command. Ugh. You wait till my father comes back from the dead.
And the episode ends with Seiya turning around to everyone and going, we're going to have to train really hard for the last fight to fight the Demon King, but first, we rest. He says, let's have some fun. And they
You knew this was fucking sus. This man's
Yeah.
not about fun.
because the episode ends with them going off about to have fun, and you see Seiya is alone and he's walking off, and that's all you see. And we go into episode 11. Episode 11 opens with Ristate out shopping with Mash and Ailulu. They're having a great time, and she's buying them new outfits, and you get the little scene where they go swimsuit shopping.
Yeah.
And
eye patch
The
bikini.
risque options.
and she wants to buy the crotchless swimsuit for
Yep.
Seiya, and she's going to get the one boobless bikini.
The eye
The
patch
eye
bra.
patch, the eye patch bikini.
Eye patch bikini.
And the woman's like, really?
Fashion
I was drunk when I was doing this.
Well, she does it for a joke, but then Ristate is like, I like the sound of this as soon as she sees the crotchless ones.
What is it? He's not an elephant, but I want to see his trunk.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
And
Can you imagine swimming with those?
what she,
Waving around,
what she's what
streamline behind
An
you.
extra paddle.
It floats for a start.
What's
so,
that? That's my fin.
It floats. So if you're swimming on, if you're swimming on your back, it's bobbing up like the Loch Ness monster.
I want to meet that Scotsman. What's your dick called? Nessie.
It's just trying to get some air.
Just a log, to be fair.
It's the waves that give it that shape.
So Rastate's plan is that she's going to make Mash and Alulu have a really busy day, so they get tired, so they go to bed early, so then she can go to the hot springs with Saya and try these new bikinis that she's bought. She also got 90% off those bikinis, by the way.
I mean, the woman felt bad.
Just 90% less fabric, that's why.
And they go looking for him, and he's gone. They can't find Saya anywhere. As a last resort, Rastate runs to Ishtar, and instead of finding Ishtar, she finds Arya. And Arya says, "You need to come with me." And she takes them to a room where time stands still. I don't see the need for it, but maybe it's the only place you can see into the past.
Their souls wouldn't age.
Right, gotcha.
I guess that's why their souls are kept in there, because that's what she points at, isn't it? And the tree thing is
that's
their souls.
right.
So their souls won't age in a room that
and
doesn't have time.
That's where their souls are kept, their real souls. And Ishtar's there, waiting for them. And we get a flashback. We see Saya fighting demons, but he's not the Saya we've seen before.
He's got different companions for a start.
Yeah, and they talk about the fact that all this time Saya has been protecting his friends. And Rastate's like, no, he hasn't. He's been horrible to me. And they're like, no, he may be a dick, but he has been protecting you all this time.
He's being a dick because he wants you to be further and distant from him.
And they say Saya has been max level. He's been level 99 since the Dragon Village. And all he's been doing is just gaining new skills. Because he can't level up any higher. He's just gaining new skills now. And they say that he learned the Gates of Valhalla, even though he said he wasn't going to. And Arya turns around and says that he is trying to succeed where he failed before. And that's why he's cautious now. And we go back to the flashback. And we see Arya with this new group of people. A younger Arya.
Yeah.
With a new group of people. And we see that they're on the B-level world. The world that she lost. The only one of, 500 or 300?
Yeah.
299, yeah.
Yeah.
She lost one.
She lost the one.
That B-level world. And isn't the healer in this group Rastate?
No,
Yes.
her name's something else.
Yeah, but it is
it is
Rastate's
her,
soul.
though, isn't it?
We get to that, yeah. Saya in this world is there, but he's careless. He doesn't prepare, and he just runs headlong into battle. He's almost in a rush. And there's a reason for that.
I feel like you are this. You would rush headlong into everything.
And we see that he cares for the people he's with, and they've got a nice dynamic. However, he doesn't listen to them when they say that he needs to slow down. And it gets to the point where he's about to go fight the demon lord of this world. And it's mentioned by his female companion that they first should go to the witch's cabin in the woods because the witch has information about the demon lord that they need. And he says, no, we don't need it. We don't need it. And we need to win this fight now. And she says, why? And he says, the more time we take to kill the demon lord, the more people suffer. So the quicker I do this, the faster I'm saving lives.
He's kind of right.
He's right. It's coming from a good place.
Yes, but you are fighting a literal demon lord. So you kind of want to be prepared for that one. If not any fight, that's the one fight you probably do want to be prepared for. Am I wrong?
No.
And he ain't going anywhere. He's saying he wants to protect all these people in the world. The demon lord is just chilling in his castle. Like, he's not going anywhere. So just prepare. He comes to the fight with the demon lord, bests him. I mean, his mate loses his leg. But he bests him. And just when you think it's all over, the male companion is eaten. The demon lord stands up. Turns out that crucial bit of information was that the demon lord had an extra life. So you had to kill him twice.
As most frogs do.
And he eats... Arya, who, while being eaten, is like, run away. And then it picks up the female companion that is with him.
Who he has definitely fallen in love with throughout this journey.
Who is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And...
Pregnant.
pregnant. Ugh.
Yes, has his unborn child, which the Demon Lord senses.
This was heavy as shit, this bit. by
This
the way.
was a bit fucking left wing, wasn't it?
This come out of fucking nowhere.
Roughing it, this one. This guy, this Saya, has come to this world and fell in love and had a child, or was going to have a child, and the Demon Lord picks her up and eats her. Rough bit, that bit. Fair play to him, though, because this given a new twist to this anime, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
it 100%
plateaued it to a different level.
It was comedy, and then it went serious.
Because this story actually gets really fucking good and well connected right at the fucking end.
Yep, everything comes together.
Turns out Restarte, because it cuts back to Restarte and she's crying. It's because she remembers. Turns out she was that princess.
And because of all the good she'd done throughout her time in that world, she came back as a goddess.
She was Saya's partner in that B-level world. Fate had brought them together again, is what Ishtar says. By some miracle.
A sticky bit of paper, really, wasn't it? Yeah.
Flew into her face for a reason.
Yeah. That paper was very much...
They also
went straight
mentioned the
to-
properties. And Ishtar says
Yeah.
that the first time Saya said properties, it gave him a window.
He didn't know when he first came into that world. He
Yeah.
didn't know he'd been there before.
After saying that, he did.
But he said properties, and it brought up his old stats.
Yeah. And he realised that he'd been there once before.
And he instantly got all of his memories back of what had happened. So he became instantly more cautious. That was so well played, by the way, because it was such a minor piece of
It's
information.
the callbacks. The callbacks. The guy from the village in episode 1. There's so many callbacks in it. And it ends with Restarte turning around and going. And Ishtar's like, you know you can't portal straight to the demon's thing. It's against the rules. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going and I'll suffer the consequences after.
She doesn't stop her, though.
She doesn't stop her. She just says, you'll be punished if you do it, but I'm not going to stop you from doing it. And she's like, I'll take the punishment. And she goes. And Mash and Elulu go up to her and they say, we're coming. We're not going to leave you to do it yourself. And they all go. And we go into episode 12. They arrive at the demon's castle, and they say that there's a different aura in this place. And it's because the whole place has the same effect as the sword did. If you die within the demon's castle, it kills
It will
your
kill you
soul as
everything,
well.
yeah.
And they get to Saya just as he uses the Gates of Valhalla. I didn't think they were going to use it so early in this episode.
No, they fucking ripped it right out, didn't
they? Like, he's already been fighting for ages, apparently.
Well, that's what they said. They were like, he's already, like, done
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, and he uses the Gates of Valhalla, and the doors of the gates are about to shut, and the demon's claws come through it again, and it rips its way out of the gate. But he uses his Phoenix thrust to try and push it back in, but it doesn't work because it's turned into like some sort of monster now, hasn't it?
It is a
The
monster,
demon,
yeah.
Demon Lord's become like this giant monster now. But luckily, he's got that doll of hair. And he uses it to form a new move, not a Phoenix thrust, but a Valhalla thrust.
Because he took part of the Gate of Valhalla,
Yeah.
plus that to then... Yeah.
Plus the doll of hair. And the Demon Lord gets knocked through the gate. And it closes and does that laughing thing with the bleeding.
with the bleeding
I
eyes.
liked the gate. It was
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It is cool.
It was well animated as well. It was fucking decent.
And then he suffers the consequences of using it. And he starts bleeding everywhere. Starte runs to him. I love this bit. And she, knowing that she'll be punished again for doing it, she unleashes
Well,
her...
in for a penny and for a pound, right?
Well, exactly. And she unleashes her full goddess potential and releases the full potential of her healing powers. And she begins to heal him as he's bleeding. She has to, like, last the length of the spell, doesn't she? The cast. So she's just healing him as he's bleeding and bleeding. He's almost bleeding as fast as she can heal.
Yeah.
But like I said, she's just got to last the spell.
But she's almost out of healing energy anyway, isn't she?
She's almost... And she uses the last push of healing to heal him. And he wakes up. And you think it's all over.
Well, they start talking like normally.
Yeah, you think it's all over. And then... is it Elulu?
Yeah,
Points it out.
notices.
She turns around and goes, why are the gates of Valhalla still above us? Shouldn't they have disappeared by now? Demon Lord breaks through them again. I think he says, like, you think the gates of Valhalla can hold me. So Saya uses it again.
Was he a head and a spine at this point?
Yes.
Was that what it was
like
supposed to be? Okay.
Yeah, almost like that boss on Sword Art. the skeleton.
Yeah,
one.
I know which one.
Yeah.
The literal
what you mean.
final, like
Yeah.
the final, not the final boss, but the final
last
boss
one
that they
they do.
fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
The
It
like
looks a bit-
millipede
looked-
one.
literally looked like that.
Yeah.
So who thought he was going to do it again straight away?
No.
No,
I thought he was just going to start attacking it.
no. So Saya just stands up and goes, "Gates of Valhalla," and uses it again, and the gate eats the other gate.
It becomes a bigger gate.
There's always a bigger gate.
But this one talks, doesn't just laugh. So this bigger gate talks to him and says, "I've done what you needed me to do, and now you must pay the price. And I require the caster's life." And this time, when he starts bleeding, he doesn't bleed. He cracks. And Restarte can't do it. She
There's
can't do
nothing
anything.
she can do.
She can't do anything. He just starts to fall to pieces. At the very last minute, he realizes that he's not going to make it through this bit, and he starts saying
All the
goodbyes.
nice things, yeah.
Yeah. So he thanks Mash and Ailulu, and says like he couldn't have done it without them.
But he could.
And at the last, he says like without your speed spell to fight the
I guess, yeah, Ailulu was
king.
decent.
Yeah. Matt, I don't think apart from
Threw
carrying
him
bag.
the sword.
Oh yes, that's right. And then before he's about to die, he gets clarity and recognizes Restarte.
And says the name of the old person. doesn't
Yes. And he says, "I'm so glad that I got to save you this time." And he dies.
It's so well done, that episode. Everything about it joins everything together. And it is sad, but it's not like... I
It's
wasn't,
really well
yeah.
done.
It was well
It is really well done. I love the story. How
way
it
it all
came
comes
together
together,
at that end is brilliant. They cut back to the capital. Rosalie is back again. This time, though, she calls Saya a hero for what he has done. She finally, oh, okay, he's killed the Demon Lord. I should really
No, he
recognise that.
died. So, yeah,
And
I
he's
guess
died
he's a
for
hero
yeah,
now.
died to kill him. She calls him a hero, and we also see that Mash and Ailulu have become knights as well. They've been given like high-ranking positions in the army because technically, before he faded, he actually turned to Mash and said, "You are the strongest person in this world now,"
Fair. Okay, yeah,
because
kind
he's a
of.
dragon god.
Yeah, kind of see it, yeah.
So now that Mash is the strongest person in the world, but we've never seen him fight.
They're
But
screwed.
and Restarte leaves. She says it's time to leave the world. There's a nice little send off for her as well. Love the
All
little
the characters coming back.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I
That was
love
nice,
the
yeah.
little send off that she has and the night salute as she leaves, and that's really good. It's really sad as well because when she gets back, she hears Saya, doesn't she?
Yeah,
And she turns and he's like
disappeared.
putting her down, and but he's not actually there. And then she sprints to her house and she throws open the doors, and it's just an empty room.
And the doll's on the floor. The phone.
Yeah, and I guess does it jump a few days?
Yeah, it jumps like a week, I think.
Yeah, and she's just in her bed. She hasn't left. Crying, she's sad. And Arya comes to collect her, and she says that Ishtar needs her. It's time to basically divvy up the punishment for breaking the rules.
This would do this, though, wouldn't it, to you?
Well,
Think about I thought about this when I was watching it. I was like, yeah, this would break you, wouldn't it? If you've been in that situation, that would 100% break you by that point.
he did what he needed to do. You done your job as a goddess. You saved the world. You paid the price for it, but it's your job.
Yeah, but I mean,
Sucks.
like, everything else behind
It fucking
yeah.
sucks because no matter what, every time you're given a world to save, you're forming a bond with the hero that you choose to save it. Every time.
But I mean, as in the fact
It's always
of...
a male hero.
Can't be, surely.
It can't be, yeah. But
Just wondering.
I was just looking at it and I thought about it this way. I was like, no other god or goddess there knows that they had a previous life. She now knows that she was killed and she had all these things
True.
with this person.
Well, we
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, because Cerseus doesn't
They
know
make
that he was
very
a
clear,
swordsman, and
point out that.
but
they don't remember.
but other ones know about others. So the other gods knew that Cerseus was a sword
Yeah, but
hero.
didn't Arya...
Well,
Arya
true, there
knows
have been
because
older
she's
gods.
had all that stuff.
Huh?
older gods that might have
It
seen them.
seems so. It's like Valkyrie and Arya and stuff like that would see new gods form.
Yeah.
I guess.
And the spirit they came from, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we know
Because
Arya would
Arya
know.
is the goddess of seals.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we know
Oh.
Arya would... Magical seal. Pachoo, pachoo, pachoo.
Restarte goes to Ishtar to receive her punishment. So the council have spoken,
We have spoken.
and They have
You're
decided.
on about the TikTok one, aren't you? The council.
They have decided that Restarte's punishment for breaking the rules is that she must save a double S ranked world, the hardest rank you can ever get. It's a world that has already fallen. It's the world that Arya lost. It's the world that Saya lost and Restarte lost in her former life. It's already run by the Demon Lord.
I'm just imagining like that flashbacks bit in the back of her head going
She must
on.
do it with no godly powers. She is stripped of her healing powers. So she's
should be human.
yes.
But
She's
she
got
could
to
heal
go
as a
and she can carry a bag of herbs with her.
She was a healer, wasn't she?
She was a healer.
She was a healer.
Oh,
at
she
the
could
party.
still have that
So I
magical
guess she's still got her
healing, but
normal
not
magic.
godly
Yeah,
level.
normal magic.
Yeah, yeah. So it's her old world. What a fucking kick in the teeth that is. I'm sending you back to the world you were eaten by a
Yeah,
giant
that time
frog.
I got reincarnated
And it's the
as a loser.
same fucking demon lord.
Oh, I'd
frog.
have some things to say to that demon.
Right?
Lord.
Guess who's
Right?
back, motherfucker?
Yeah, but he's not only that, but he's gone from a rank B demon lord to a double S now. So he's fucking like quadruple more powerful than when you last met him. At least you'd know he'd got an extra fucking life this time.
Yeah.
You ain't getting me with that one. Fool me once, shame on me.
Double tab, bitch. That's what you got to do.
Well, that's what he does throughout this entire series.
Double tap.
He destroys everything. That's why he does it.
Oh fuck, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
What?
How did you? Have you only
Oh,
just
fuck off,
realised?
You just
that?
realised.
No!
He did.
He fucking
just
just
realised. He
realised.
said it and went,
just
oh,
realised.
wait, no, I can sound clever.
I've got them here. He just realised.
I thought everyone had realised, so I said
I thought
nothing,
everyone knew.
expecting Sheeny to have noticed that key point.
So the reason Saya kills things twice is because, obviously, in his previous world,
oh,
should
Sheeny's
double
trying to make
tap.
himself sound smart now. I knew it.
I got some form of sentence.
Some clever editing there will happen.
But the joke's on him, because I'm editing this one.
Luckily, she's got to pick a hero to take to this double S ranked world, and Ishtar turns around and says, "Well, the second Gate of Valhalla swallowed the chain destruction power that was within the demon's castle, and therefore the soul of the hero was not fully destroyed."
I am calling bullshit on
And
this.
she
bit,
says
though.
that she gives her a list of
quotation
marks, a list with one name on it, saying you must use this hero and this hero alone, and the hero is Saya.
And he's level 1 with all his stats back to normal, though, on
Back
this.
to normal, and that's how it ends. So, what did we think of Cautious Hero? Final thoughts?
I'll let you go first.
It was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't brilliant, but
I love it.
clever.
It's not your Sword Art level of hooking you in
No,
and stuff like that.
that's the bit that it missed for me. I never got hooked. There was no episode or character that I went, they're the reason I'm watching
Didn't hook
it.
you, but fuck, it had a good story.
Yeah, it was good.
Fuck, it had a good story. I mean, for what was supposed to be a jokey isekai
It was a comedy until episode
It was a
9.
what?
A comedy.
comedy,
Comedy until
Comedy.
episode 9.
yes, and
And then
then
things
they
changed.
they were like, we've dropped the nuggets in it, and we'll bring them all together. It was really well done.
Well delivered.
Yeah,
Very well.
the whole bomb drop of Restarte and him having a child with her and stuff. I mean, we commented about it on the first part, saying that Restarte must be a new god, and without knowing, obviously, that. So we called it, but I didn't know that they would know each other.
Yeah.
That's something that you wouldn't call, and it's such a good bomb drop. You know, for somebody who hasn't watched it, it's a solid isekai. It really is.
The pace was good at the end as well. Because
The
they
pace in the whole
banged it out
Yeah.
in the last 3 episodes.
They gave you two of the two last episodes.
Yeah.
Were brilliant.
Do you know what was really nice as well? Forgoing all the other tropes of every single other one, the final boss fight didn't take 3 fucking
Yeah,
episodes to
one
do.
episode, done.
Not even 1 episode. It was like 10
Yeah.
minutes.
And the hero died.
Done.
Yeah. And that
good.
was the twist.
That's what I
yeah.
mean.
An actual sacrifice
the
where
pace
he's
was
not like
good.
brought back again. Right? I mean, he's brought back.
He is,
but
yeah.
not. But, you know what I mean? Not in that sort of like all of a sudden, like
The happy ending.
he's dying in the arms, and also he's like,
There seemed
Yeah.
like there was consequences to the actions that were taken.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it.
I mean, we knew Saya was good from the start, and he was protecting people. It's fairly obvious
Yeah.
that he's trying to protect people, but they do sort of
But
thrust
in the
it
last
on you at
3,
the end,
you
don't they?
understand why he does it.
Exactly. and
Good.
why he's cautious.
Yeah, they
and-
paced it really, really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
really well.
I do like the change in attitude as well, because it caught me out the first time I watched it. I was very surprised about the key change of how it was all happy, jokey, laughy. I was enjoying that, and then they went, oh yeah, by the way, all this happened, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, that's changed
We
tone.
also said in part 1 that, you know, when Arya sees him and drops her tray, and we were
Yeah.
like, oh, that's because she fancies him.
Yeah.
It's not, is it? Because she recognised him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they brought, even that was a little throwback moment where you're like, oh, she just fancies him. And then you're
There's
like,
a-
oh shit, no, wait. So back then when she dropped the tray, it's because she fucking knew him
There's also a piece
and
in
didn't say anything.
There's also a piece in episode 7 that we didn't talk about, where she's sitting down and talking to Restarte, and Restarte turns around to Arya and goes, oh, it just seems like you know him so much better than I do.
Yeah.
And she
Just-
goes, oh, no, don't worry. It's just, I've got an idea for these sort of things. And there's just like little drops of hints of what's going on.
For a 12 episode anime, they do so well. I mean, they've left it open if they really wanted to do a season 2.
Of course they will do.
I don't want them to.
It's old. I don't think they will.
I don't
fair
want
enough.
them to.
I
either.
don't think they will.
The voice acting when he was happy-go-lucky was pretty poor.
I've never highlighted his voice, to be honest. It's okay. It's always been okay.
It suits the role when he's this
Brooding.
He's a straight
doesn't
man.
have a lot to say,
Yeah.
kind of one-liners, but you give him actual
Yeah.
emphasis, some power to his words.
The bit where he says to
And
her, like,
you
oh,
can
I
see
see
it was a
you.
bit cheap.
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
no.
He doesn't portray that emotion right at the end very well.
No.
When he's like, oh, I'm glad I saved you this time and stuff like that. He doesn't necessarily do it. But Restarte, on the other hand.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
his voice works
Brilliant.
well. His voice works well for the first 9.
Yeah, when it's that monotone
When it's
kind
the
of...
monotone straight
shit.
man
When it gets
versus the
serious,
comedy.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
But
as well.
Restarte throughout, best character.
Yeah,
Oh,
easy.
100%.
Hands down.
I feel
it's
like
her
she
show.
was the main character.
She is
the main character. It starts
is
and ends with her.
100% the main character.
She narrates the show. She does
Yeah.
everything. I mean, she even
The voice
talks about
acting's
that.
brilliant. The character development of her is brilliant, especially when she finds out and you see her crying and she's like, and the determination and then losing him, and absolutely brilliant. Mash and Lulu I could do without.
I'd get rid of Mash.
I'd get rid of Mash, yeah.
He has to have companions, I get it.
Keep
But-
Ailulu.
Yeah,
You need one.
I didn't mind
Yeah,
Lulu.
but she's got that fucking star magic wand.
Who gives a shit? Oh, yeah, we'll get rid of the fucking magic wand of that shit.
Yeah. And she's all pink and fairy.
Well, then change that.
You change her character design slightly.
I mean, if you're going to have them both, you wouldn't make him this dragon.
You'd make
fucking
them
dude.
brother and sister to start with, not
Yeah.
try and force some sort of connection for one episode and then
Yeah, that's
Disregard
who,
it.
I shall I tell you what that
fucking
feels like.
you'd make them brother and sister.
Well, they still wouldn't stop them, would they?
That feels like a that feels like a creative decision that they got to that point of the dragon thing and then went, no, we're not going into that sort of thing and left it. If you know what I
They
mean.
shouldn't have though. They,
Or
He should have been
maybe
another swordsman.
maybe that's a piece of that was left on the cutting room floor. Yeah, they might have had.
they should have just
extra.
had better backstories. They should have developed these companions a little bit better. I think.
I would
I
have
don't-
liked something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the problem is they tried to in the dragon episode,
That don't work. Like
and
that.
it just fell flat on its
They
face,
don't-
didn't
What
it?
did they say? That they are technically lizard folk, but because they were granted powers by this great dragon god,
Yeah.
they turned into human
Human.
form.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Just
that's,
make him a swordsman and her a mage, and you're done. Don't worry about it. If you're gonna make them these non-existent characters, just carry your
you
shit.
could have had them from
Just
like
make 'em
prestigious
that.
family
And
Yeah.
Ailulu.
that are known for having great magic and sword ability, sword play abilities.
Yeah.
Ailulu was there for 3 uses.
Haste.
For the haste, for the sword.
She was
episode.
necessary. Mash
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But even then,
mean-
necessary.
Do you know what, right?
No, but it's nice to have somebody who is a companion that isn't actually needed but wants to be.
Yeah.
That's fine. Run with that. You don't need 2. You only need 1.
Or have
that's lesser
Mash
Klein.
have Mash turn up slightly later. And
Mash
just,
could have been a Klein.
he could have
Yeah.
been that sort
That's
of
all.
person.
That's what he could have been. He could have just been this swordsman, looked up to him,
Yeah.
called him master, wanted to learn what he knew, and it was like the first lesson is carry my bags.
Yep.
And he was
And
awful.
make that the running
But-
joke. That's the only lesson he
yeah.
teaches
But
him,
have-
to carry his bags.
do you
I'm
think-
teaching you to have a strong back.
Or like on the sly, he's actually teaching him
like
new
a
things, but he doesn't realise
Miyagi
it.
type.
Yeah,
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah,
shit.
He doesn't actually know it.
Yeah, and then the
I'm
last
building
bit,
your forearm
This is
muscles.
it. Yeah, literally. Like, have you never seen how much you've leveled up since you've been carrying my bags?
Yeah.
those are heavy ass bags that
Yeah.
you're carrying. That would have been funny because it would have been comedy style.
Yeah.
That
Because Mash could have punched somebody and it could have been really effective. And he
his
could have gone like, he
strength
could have been
could
like,
have been
where's this strength come from?
Because
He's
you
like,
carry my shit.
yeah,
you have learned well from my training.
young Padawan.
I was not going to go. I was not going to go that way.
Do it.
Should we go into some ratings or? have we
Yeah,
got-
let's go into some ratings.
Yeah?
Do you want to go first?
Nah, you go. I'm good.
Okay. I think for this one, I'm going to go for an 8. I feel that it was a good show. There was nothing I've got like major complaints about. I got like minor complaints, but actually,
If you enjoyed it, you
yeah,
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. And do you know what? Like I said to you guys in the first one that we did, I watched 6, got to 6, and went, do you know what? I'm going to watch the rest of it
No,
because
that's
I
fair.
just am enjoying watching it.
Sometimes you can just enjoy a show. It doesn't have to hook you in as such. But
It was
you
one
can
of
just
those-
enjoy it.
It was one of those that I sat there and went, I've got that on, but I'm doing something else as well. I can enjoy watching both at this same time.
6.5. It's enjoyable, but lacked a hook. I didn't really...
That's not a bad rating from him, considering it doesn't have a hook for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
6.5.
Because I recognise that it is a good show.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
had
absolutely.
everything this show needed. A few minor annoyances in 2 characters here and there, but apart from that, it was a good show.
Yeah, I solid 7 from me. I liked the show. A solid 7 out of 10. I think it's more than fair. If his voice acting would have been a bit better, it might have bumped it up slightly more. And then
I don't think it would have for me. Like I said, it just...
maybe if they focused on the companions a bit better.
Yeah, I wanted...
What did you want for a hook?
because the story doesn't suck you in and you know the immediate problems and how to solve them and everything else, and it gives you in little pieces as you go along. Oh, we're 3 episodes in, you got to go get a sword. 7 episodes in, you got to go get some armor. It's like, if that would have been laid out and, a roadmap and characters I actually attached myself to, like we did with Kirito.
Do you like the premise of the cautious hero?
Yeah, the premise is fucking brilliant. That's what I love. Like, I understand there is a good story there, but the characters that they put forward just didn't make me want to watch that story, and that's the problem. It's a Sword Art problem all over again. It's like, behind it is a fucking brilliant masterpiece, but what you've got on the screen is... It's okay.
Yeah.
Did you think it was... This is why I'm sort of interpreting it.
The characters
Is
were
that
bad.
I think that...
Not bad. No,
What-
bad's the wrong word.
What you were on about is like that the show, because of the way it was set out for the last 3 or 4 episodes to be the one that is like everything comes together at the end. There wasn't anything at the start to get
Yeah,
you going
that's
on
the
it, if you know
problem.
what I mean.
Because the first 6
Makes sense.
episodes were kind of a bit nothing, you don't get attached to anyone until it's at the end. And
The
then,
only good thing about them was the pacing, because
Yeah.
they didn't make you bored.
but that means that you needed good character, not even development, just character writing,
Interaction.
played well, voice acted better, just so you get to like just better lines, better writing.
Yeah.
It's not the problem of the people that wrote the show, it's a problem of the people that wrote the script.
Yeah, the only person I've never had a problem with is Rustarte.
Yeah.
I li-
No faults with her.
No, her lines are brilliant.
But sadly, she
well delivered.
takes not a backseat, but it's almost a secondary role to our main hero, because he's the one that's thrust forward all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Does it feel to you guys then this missed one character? It missed an extra character with the bits that you're on about that are missing.
it's the hero.
It's just the hero, yeah.
It's the
He's the
hero.
problem.
The premise of him and his one-liners are great, but
Yeah.
other than those 2 things, the fact that he's cautious and his one-liners, that's all he's got.
Shall I
Yeah.
tell you what might have been your better hook? Disagree or agree with me with this. The whole start of this was about her becoming a higher ranked goddess, and that sort of gets lost throughout all of it. She never really talks about the fact
that's
that this
because-
is why she's doing
Yeah,
it.
but that's because the job at hand is to save the world.
Yeah, but her
Her
brilliant
goal.
character, though,
Yeah.
takes a backseat to, oh, I love him.
Yeah.
We understand why it does.
I get the funny romances, and
Yeah.
and there's a deeper
but
meaning
that
behind it.
becomes all she is for a good 5 episodes, and it's just too much.
Yes, because he doesn't allow her.
She's still a character without that bit as well.
Yeah, he doesn't allow her to do what she's supposed to be there to do, though.
No.
As
but
well.
that means that she could just... yeah, but every time that he doesn't allow her to do it, the frustration goes to, but he's so pretty.
Yeah, true.
rather than
I think her
having
frustration
an
should
actual
be
character.
Her frustration then should be, this guy is not doing it. I'm not going to become this higher goddess that I've wanted to always
There's
be.
just conversations to have. Like the one that lost the actual world, the goddess that lost the world. She could have, with Restarte, could have had a conversation with her and be like, "He's fucking annoying. I hate him," and then just say, "Well, there's a fine line between love and hate," and a big speech about that, and then she goes back and fucking puts up with him. Those little bits of her being an individual.
True,
for those
because the
5
person
episodes.
she fell in love with in her previous life was a guy who threw himself into combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was reckless, and he's now the opposite of what she fell in love with the first time.
Maybe this...
Which means she would have been.
So maybe
frustrated
she's got
past
to
that.
hate the fact that for some reason she likes him.
She
but
should be...
shouldn't.
She should be what he is to the knight. What's her name? I forgot her
Rosalie.
name. Rosalie, where they both clash because she's reckless and he's cautious. They both clash together because they're the opposites.
But she does try and hurry him along,
She does try,
and
but,
she does get frustrated
but
that
again,
he's
they
cautious.
just don't come across as her character. They're just like lines here and
Yeah,
there, but
true.
not actual character.
Not her genuinely trying to
Yeah.
get him moving.
Do you feel that the love aspect should have come into it around 7, 8?
I just think she.
And then
really-
the knowledge comes in at 9, 10,
No,
11.
I like the bomb drop
Yeah.
because it is so sudden and out.
No,
of
I
the
mean
blue.
like the love aspect that they drop right at the start, where she's like, "Oh, this guy's so dreamy."
No, because she can comment
Get
on
rid
the
of
fact
that.
that he is
Yeah.
attractive.
Yeah, because then it plays itself off as an impulse.
But then his personality puts her off.
yeah,
yeah.
and that then disappears, but it doesn't disappear during this at the moment.
Yeah, and the problem
so
is
I
that
mean,
that's
it
all it
should
becomes.
disappear.
But then you can have those moments that you do have where where he does something, and she's like, "Oh, he's not as bad as
Yeah,
I thought."
and that
he
The
was."
bit
grows.
where he took the fucking thing off the little girl, the
flower, yeah.
token
growth.
thing, yeah, and have it's just more tiny bits like that where there's actual pieces of their personality
where
past-
she slowly starts to fall in love with him,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead
Again.
of
rather than just finding him on a sexual level.
yeah.
Actually seeing those little token moments from him where she's like, "That's a nice deed that he's just done there."
And I want to see a point where at the start she goes, "I'm doing this to become a higher goddess. All this guy's dreamy. Oh, I fucking hate him. Right, let's keep with this guy because I want to be a higher goddess, higher goddess." Keep it going through, and then it gets to a point where it cuts, and it's like, okay, this guy's not that bad. And then have those two compete until finally that one then takes over. That, oh, this guy actually do like him for love or love him. You see, that should then have her in the end when they're like, "Oh, you'll be punished for this. You know, you won't become a higher god." She goes,
That's not
that's not why I'm
important
doing
anymore.
it.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? They should have
yeah.
had that. That would have been a real good
In
way.
essence, she does say it, but not as
Yeah, but
impactful as you're saying.
She only says it in episode 1 and then in episode 12.
yeah.
There's nothing
Absolutely.
in between.
Yeah,
should
no,
have
no,
had
no.
that
Because in
progression.
between, she just becomes, "He's so dreamy, I'll do as I'm told."
And that would have been a really good way.
A
It would have
lapdog.
been
Pretty much. And it's such a shame because the pieces of her you see when he's not around, good fucking character.
Yeah, she is a good
Brilliant character.
I like the bits where he's off training and you just
Yeah.
get her and she's like meeting characters and stuff. That's good because she's funny.
Like, the strongest scene in the whole fucking show is when she's walking through the corridor talking to all the other gods that have helped or
yeah,
along the way. It's the strongest scene and it's got fuck all to do with him.
Yep.
because it's got heart.
Yeah,
Yep.
because it's
Because
just
they come
voice
to,
acted
because,
well
Yeah.
because they're
and
sad.
written well.
They come to her and they recognise that
They
she's
console
upset.
her
It's
in
got
a
emotion.
very unique way.
Yeah, each personality is different.
Yeah.
Each god is different.
Except
Oh.
hers, which you don't see until then.
Yeah.
The perfect line that sums it all up for me is the goddess of destruction when she's at the end and says, "You shouldn't be sad. Come to me up and I'll paint you because you're very beautiful when you're happy." That bit was really well done. And that was the
Valkyrie, yeah.
Valkyrie, yeah. That was so well done and so well scripted.
And just more of those little interactions along the way would have made the show better. Because you would have liked the characters rather
Yeah.
than just waiting for the one-liner to appear.
So what we're saying is then,
But it's not a bad story.
It's
It really
nowhere
isn't.
near.
no, but that would have given it the progression, which
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
would have upped
Well,
your scores
you
a bit
are
more.
making a show that probably potentially would then have a season 2 because you're going more in depth and enriching the story.
That's probably where season 2 would have gone
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah.
Is character building because
What you have got is a very quick 12 episodes, which is fine.
I disagree that I think this had to be a contained 12. I don't think a second one would have worked because there's no progression and there's no character increases.
Yeah, but you're trying to enrich it. And what I'm saying is if you enriched it like we're saying, then you would require a season 2.
We're forgetting something. She's got to go to that world as a human. That means they get another goddess or god to help. Because she's now
true,
human.
Yeah.
No, they've given her
given her
It's just her
that
punishment
job.
is that she has to do it as a human, regardless. That's still her job.
That's the punishment they've given them.
I would have still.
Would you have argued with the council?
No, I would have still said. I would have still said there would be a god.
No. Unless they turn around to Arya and go,
Well, they
you
would
could
have
be
had
the god of the party.
They would have had to free her soul from that fucking vault. Which
That would have been nice.
That
would have been nice. You've got some beef with this place, Arya. You go back as the goddess.
Yeah, round 2, bitches.
And Rastarte and Saya are the humans.
Yeah.
And then you might have been able to get a bit of heart from season 2, where, oh, by the way, the guy that died, he's now a demon or something like that.
Then
comes
you get
back.
familiarity with 3 characters, and you bring in a 4th new one.
Yeah, it'd be good
to fill in a gap.
Be a good season
There
2.
you go.
And there's people do want to see that because they're going back to the old world, the world that they died in. So that's quite interesting.
I like that hook. It's that.
Because we see it very briefly.
That is
one
interesting.
episode for 5 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah, that is interesting though,
It's
as a
hook.
lineup for season 2. But anyway, should we finalise it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cautious Hero gets the Summoning Boys 7.1 out of 10.
No, that seems
That's about right.
reasonable, yeah.
And on that note, it's time for us to chuff off. All you summoners can join us next time on our 1-year anniversary,
Woo.
1 year.
where we're going to mix it up a little bit and do the live action adaptation of Death Note, the Netflix movie.
I am looking forward to this.
I am not.
If you've got any questions or queries or just want to see what we're up to, you can join us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at How Not To Summon, or join our Discord at How Not To Summon a Podcast. I've been Shini Senpai.
I've been Jim.
I've been Grayson.
See ya!
See you later.
Sarah.